Tonight, on the trail of a killer, scientists find something in our genes that could make some people more likely to get hooked on cigarettes and die of lung cancer. I'm Katie Couric. Also tonight, a plan to help homeowners at risk of foreclosure.
Wall Street has been helped. Now it's time to help Main Street.
Stretching the truth.
So I took the initiative in creating the internet.
Why do politicians exaggerate when it's so easy to get busted? And how much water should we drink to stay healthy? A long-held recommendation may be going down the drain.
This is the CBS Evening News with Katie Couric.
Good evening, everyone. We're beginning tonight with a surprising new discovery about smoking. Despite all the health warnings, an estimated 45 million Americans still do it. Every year, about 40% try to quit, but only 5% succeed. And now we have a better idea of why so many people are hooked on cigarettes and dying as a result. As Dr. Emily Sine reports, it's something in our genes.
3 studies all conclude small variations in genes can have a profound impact on the risk of lung cancer for smokers by making cigarettes more deadly, more addictive, or both.
It's kind of a double whammy. It affects both your lung cancer risk as well as your nicotine dependence.
Smokers without the genes have about a 1 in 6 chance of developing lung cancer. But in smokers who inherit the gene from both parents, the risk of cancer rises to 1 in 4, an 80% increase. Using a high-tech screening technique, researchers were able to hone in on small changes within the genes that control nicotine receptors, the parts of cells where nicotine attaches. The U.S.-led research team says the genes may make smokers more dependent on cigarettes, more likely to smoke more, and therefore more likely to get cancer.
What this finding means is that some individuals who unfortunately are at higher risk for getting lung cancer, if they carry the genetic factor, also may find it more difficult to quit.
Another dramatic finding, the researchers say nicotine itself may fuel the development of lung cancer. Until now, there's been little solid evidence that nicotine causes cancer. It's been blamed on tar and other additives.
We're about to take the leap in lung cancer that we've seen in other cancers, where we move it from a poorly understood disease with not a lot of options to a much better understood disease with many more options, and that's exciting.
Eventually, a commercially available test for these genes may be available. The downside, many people may think if they don't have the genes, they can smoke risk-free. Of course, that's not true.
That's right. And people generally, Emily, don't have a lot of sympathy for patients with lung cancer because they believe they somehow brought it on themselves by smoking. Do you think this research will change that mindset in any way?
You know, I think it should help relieve some of that bias, some of that burden on people who have been smokers. It may also have the effect of increasing empathy and sympathy for smokers and more research dollars for lung cancer.
Well, that's badly needed. Dr. Emily Sine. Emily, thank you so much. On a related note, a House committee voted today to give the FDA for the first time authority to regulate tobacco products. The full House and Senate are expected to do the same. The bill would allow the FDA to restrict tobacco advertising and promotions and could lead to less harmful ingredients in cigarettes. The federal government is also taking a closer look at airline safety. The FAA said today it's investigating 4 U.S. carriers. It did not say which carriers, but an industry-wide audit found 3 had missed inspection deadlines and the other didn't file the proper paperwork. That audit was begun after it was discovered that Southwest Airlines failed to complete inspections on its planes.
I'd much rather be here today talking to you about things we found and things we are correcting than for all of us to be in a field at an accident site talking about what happened.
Also today, United Airlines canceled dozens of flights. Its entire fleet of Boeing 777s was grounded so testing could be done on their fire suppression systems. Now to the foreclosure crisis that has so many Americans worried about losing their homes. After the government helped rescue Bear Stearns, calls grew louder for Washington to help struggling homeowners as well. Today on Capitol Hill, there was at least the promise of some assistance. Here's Wyatt Andrews.
With thousands of homes still going into foreclosure every day, the Senate has decided to act, piecing together a mortgage aid package to help stabilize the decline in the value of homes. With details of the package still to come, states would get $10 billion to help refinance subprime mortgages. Localities would get $4 billion to buy homes in foreclosure. The biggest idea for home buyers is a $7,000 tax credit for anyone buying a new home, a home in default, or a home in foreclosure.
One shouldn't view it as a silver bullet.
Economist Peter Morisi calls the package underwhelming, but says Congress has to start somewhere.
They see the need to stop the decline in housing prices, and they also do need to do political damage control.
Damage control because both parties in Congress are taking heat over their inaction, letting average Americans absorb the loss of their homes, while losses at Bear Stearns, $29 billion worth, were being absorbed by the Fed.
Wall Street has been helped. Now it's time to help Main Street.
The Fed chairman, Ben Bernanke, appeared before Congress today with a blunt message. Recession is possible, he said, and fixing the slump in home prices has to be a priority.
I do think Congress needs to be looking at housing. I think it is the center of the situation, the center of the problem at this point.
The Senate package still faces days' worth of debate, and what's on the table now is a drastic reduction from what Democrats first proposed. But there are orders from leadership on both sides of the aisle to get something, anything done. Wyatt Andrews, CBS News, Capitol Hill.
Turning to the presidential campaign, Barack Obama said today that if he's elected, he'll offer former Vice President Al Gore a major role in his administration to address global warming. Hillary Clinton, meanwhile, rolled out a new TV ad with a familiar theme.
It's 3 a.m. and your children are safe and asleep. But there's a phone ringing in the White House, and this time the crisis is economic.
In the ad, Clinton takes aim at Republican John McCain, suggesting he'd let the phone keep ringing. McCain, meanwhile, said today he plans to announce his running mate well before the Republican convention in September, but he said the search is in the, quote, embryonic stage. Today, McCain visited his alma mater, and Chip Reed was there.
On a blustery day in Annapolis, John McCain recalled his years at the Naval Academy when he was known more for insubordination than heroism.
At the end of my third year, I'd marched enough extra duty to take me to Baltimore and back 17 times.
Despite the resistance, McCain did learn discipline here, discipline he now applies to his presidential campaign. Today, he told reporters he's put together a list of about 20 possible running mates, but he refused to name any of them.
It takes weeks, if not months, to just go through the background.
But a more pressing problem for McCain is money. A new nonpartisan report shows the two Democratic candidates have raised nearly $50 million from business interests that usually give to Republicans. McCain has raised only $13 million.
He has, frankly, angered, alienated business interests over his many years in Congress.
But McCain insists the fundraising operation is now back on track, and so is his sense of humor.
Hey, Letterman.
Taking on comic David Letterman after he made fun of McCain.
Well, you look like a guy whose laptop would be seized by the authorities. What?
Late-night TV aside, McCain's aides say he's focused on winning, another quality he was taught at the Naval Academy. John McCain graduated from the Naval Academy near the very bottom of his class. Some here were surprised he graduated at all. Today, McCain said the fact that he is now a candidate for president shows that in America, anything is possible. Chip Reed, CBS News, Annapolis.
Overseas, a major change could be in the works in the African nation of Zimbabwe, led for more than a quarter century by President Robert Mugabe. In elections last weekend, his party lost control of parliament, and the opposition claims it won the presidency as well. But the returns are trickling in, leading some to believe Mugabe may try to hold on to power. Zimbabwe's economy is in shambles. Inflation is running a staggering 100,000%. There is much more CBS News ahead. They've been telling us for years to drink plenty of water. Now they're saying not so much. But up next, tall tales on the campaign trail. The truth takes a beating. Turning again now to the presidential campaign, where candidates sometimes play fast and loose with the facts. These days, every single thing they say is analyzed and dissected. So when stories fall apart, you can't help but wonder, why do they do it? They were the shots heard round the world.
I remember landing under sniper fire.
But as everyone now knows, those shots didn't exist. These shots do. Even before the Bosnia story, Hillary Clinton's reputation had taken some hits. In a recent poll, 46% of Americans said Clinton is phony. Only 48% said she's honest. What do you think leads a candidate to exaggerate or be hyperbolic about his or her record?
You take the pressure of a press corps that is on top of them all day, every day, and the competitive pressure of being head-to-head with an opponent now for months on end. And there is extraordinary pressure to come up with new proof points to prove her narrative and her reason for being the best candidate to carry the Democratic mantle.
But on the campaign trail, stretching the truth can be as common as kissing babies. And Barack Obama has gilded the lily as well. Obama claimed it was the Kennedy family that helped finance his father's journey from Kenya to America.
So it is partly because of their generosity that my father came to this country.
Except that wasn't true. Neither was another story about the 1965 March on Selma, inspiring his parents to fall in love. Trouble is, Obama was born 4 years before that. John McCain's rhetoric doesn't always pass the smell test either.
It's called Al-Qaeda in Iraq. And my friends, they wouldn't, if we left, they wouldn't be establishing a base. They wouldn't be establishing a base. They'd be taking a country. And
John McCain doesn't need to exaggerate his biography. It's a spectacular biography. But he does exaggerate the threat of Al-Qaeda in Iraq, which is a small Sunni group in a majority Shiite country. He says they could take over if we leave. That's an exaggeration.
But in this day and age, candidates embellish at their own peril.
We're operating in a 24-hour-a-day, 7-day-a-week news environment now. There really are no off-camera moments.
Guys.
It may be harder today, but it's hardly new.
Who is Jennifer Flowers? You know her.
Oh, yes.
How do you know her? How would you describe your relationship?
Very limited.
I took the initiative in creating the internet.
Gore's statement played into the Republican strategy in 2000 that he wasn't trustworthy, while Democrats argued Bush wasn't up to the job.
Roger Simon, in his book about the campaign, called it Dumbo versus Pinocchio. When President Bush would make a misstatement, it was often seen as benign, a simple mistake. When Vice President Gore would make a misstatement, it was often seen as malicious or intentionally misleading.
In this campaign cycle, Hillary Clinton runs the risk of being portrayed the same way.
Her vulnerability among Democrats is that she will say or do anything, and that there's a willingness on her part to stretch or strain the truth.
That's not Obama's weakness, but something else could be.
People view Obama as essentially honest, so they give him the benefit of the doubt. But questions about experience and readiness for office, those are ones where if he stumbles, it can really harm him.
So how will this all shake out? A new poll out today shows that in the upcoming primary state of Pennsylvania, trustworthiness is the second most important quality voters look for in a candidate, second only to strong leader. Well, candidates are not the only ones under the microscope. Congress got a reality check today after a watchdog group published a report on pork barrel spending. The group found over $17 billion of what it considers government waste, including $3 million for a group called the First Tee, which promotes golf among young people, $188,000 for Maine's Lobster Institute to develop, among other things, lobster-flavored dog biscuits, and $123,000 for a Mother's Day shrine in West Virginia. Well, to do all that spending, the government also has to do a whole lot of borrowing, and we'll show you who's holding the USA's IOUs when the evening news continues after this. Maybe it's in our genes, America's addiction to debt. George Washington had to borrow money to get to New York for his inauguration. The United States was born in debt, owing money for the revolution, and has been in the red every year but two. Well, now more and more of what we borrow comes from overseas. Countries like Kuwait own a bigger and bigger piece of us. Anthony Mason introduces us to the Kuwaiti who helped bail out two U.S. financial institutions as we continue our series, Life and Debt in America.
The oil-rich Persian Gulf. For decades, it's been America's gas station. It's now becoming our bank.
Your fund is a major investor in the U.S., yes?
Yes.
Badr al-Saad has never spoken to American television before. He's the head of the Kuwait Investment Authority, the tiny Gulf nation's national reserve fund, now flush with cash from Kuwait's oil profits.
You're sitting on over $200 billion, is that right?
Let me tell you, by law, I cannot mention any figures. I am prohibited.
Yes, Katie, there, please.
Managed from this London trading desk, Kuwait's fund, estimated at $215 billion, is among the biggest in the world. One of Kuwait's biggest investments, U.S. debt.
Is the U.S. still a good investment?
Yes, over long term, I believe it's a good investment.
44 cents out of every dollar our country owes in public debt is now owed to foreign investors. $2.2 trillion worth, nearly 10% more than just a year ago. Because our debt at home is growing so fast, we've had to go abroad to borrow from the world's booming economies, like the 6 Gulf states, including Kuwait, which control $1.7 trillion. China's fund, which has $200 billion, and Russia's with $125 billion.
It changes the nature of the world in the capital markets.
Wall Street dealmaker Gary Parr has brought together foreign investors and U.S. companies hungry for cash.
As long as oil is at $100 a barrel, and as long as we buy as many goods as we do from China, it is certain that a lot of capital and basically money is going to flow into those markets, and they're going to invest somewhere.
But the surge in foreign investment makes many uneasy.
There's an awful lot of power that comes with lending money.
University of Chicago professor Charles Whelan says that power can be political, economic, or legal.
And there is no doubt that many of those things accompany the fact that these sovereign wealth funds are loaning a tremendous amount of capital to American businesses and indirectly to the American government by just being the ones with deep pockets at a time that we need to borrow.
When Citigroup and Merrill Lynch were hemorrhaging money because of the subprime crisis, they needed cash quick. It was Kuwait that came to the rescue.
You put $3 billion in Citibank and $2 billion in
Merrill Lynch.
Yes.
Yes.
That's a big vote of confidence in those companies.
It is.
But as al-Saad looks for the best investments for Kuwait, he's growing increasingly concerned about America's free spending.
You have a fundamental worry about what's happening in the U.S.
This is a fundamental issue. This is a structural issue in the U.S. economy.
And nothing concerns him more than our spiraling debt.
This is a real problem. And if this continues forever, then there is a real issue in the U.S. economy. Somebody has to fund this deficit.
For now, it's countries like Kuwait, but for how much longer? Anthony Mason, CBS News, Kuwait City.
And how good a credit risk are you? Tomorrow, an unprecedented look inside the system that decides whether you get a thumbs up or a thumbs down when you want a loan. Coming up next, we've always been told to drink at least 8 glasses of water a day, but is that really necessary? Maybe not. Finally tonight, we've heard all about the health benefits of drinking a lot of water, but now researchers have gone looking for scientific proof. And as Nancy Cordes reports, they've come up dry.
The new report throws cold water on a long-held belief.
8 glasses of water every day.
That just doesn't hold water, say doctors at the University of Pennsylvania.
If you're thirsty, drink. If you're not thirsty, you needn't drink.
The researchers looked at all the studies out there and found no evidence that drinking lots of water has lots of benefits.
I mean, it cleans all the toxins that are in your body.
Your body weight divided by 2, that's how many fluid ounces you should be at least.
Keeps your skin younger.
There was never a scientific basis for it.
And despite what all the diet books say, there's also no proof that filling up with water will make you less hungry.
Those individuals that enjoy going to the bathroom would benefit from high fluid intake, but others definitely would not.
So then, where did the idea of 8 glasses a day even come from?
Nobody really knows, but the researchers argue that a healthy adult only needs to consume the same amount of water their body loses every day. That's about a quart to a quart and a half, or the equivalent of just 4 to 6 glasses.
For some, the findings may be hard to swallow.
The more the better. I don't think you can drink too much.
Maybe not, but the researchers say some of our most cherished beliefs about the power of water could be all wet. Nancy Cordes, CBS News, New York.
And that is the CBS Evening News. I'm Katie Couric. Thank you for watching tonight, and I hope you'll do it again tomorrow. Good night.
For news 24 hours a day, click on CBSNews.com.